Alright, what's good y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, with the most recent announcement of Pokemon Legends ZA, it's no mystery that we're probably going to spend the next few weeks talking about this one and only thing that they announced for us at the most recent Pokemon Presents. At the time of this recording, it's only been about 15 hours since said announcement, and I am still very much in disbelief that that actually happened. It feels like it's been a very long while since I've come out of a Pokemon Presents, completely satisfied with what we received. Which is ironic as hell, because usually at the end of any given Pokemon Presents, we have something relating to some major game releasing either at the end of the year, or the DLC attached to said game, also usually near the end of the year. But this time, they just said, hey, we have a Legends game coming out at some point in 2025, so be prepared for that. Absolutely. You go, girl. Give us nothing. And so, with that announcement, I'm sure you and everybody's mamas has seen Twitter in an absolute uproar of praise and happiness that we're not getting anything this year. I didn't think that it was possible. None of us, as Pokemon fans, thought it would be possible, and yet, here we are. And so, that brings me into the main point of this video, why I think Legends ZA is so important. And in this very specific instance, I'm not even talking about why it's important to the series, or to the story or lore, or anything along those lines. But if you know me, you know that we're going to be talking about that stuff plenty throughout the year anyway, so make sure to stick around. But no, in this instance, I'm talking about why Legends ZA is so important to us as Pokemon fans. So for those of you that know me, you know good and well what I'm going to be yapping about for the next 10 minutes. But for those of you who don't and are looking from the outside in, wondering why we're going crazy about getting absolutely nothing, why don't you go ahead, strap in, relax, sit down, grab your Coke, your cold pizza, because apparently y'all like to eat that for some reason, and let's take a gander as to why Pokemon Legends ZA is such a crucial and huge step for us, and why it is so important to Pokemon as a franchise. First and foremost, the most obvious thing is that it's a Legends game. For anybody that's been out of the loop for the last 2.5 years, pretty much on a monthly basis, we were rotating with the same general conversations. Remakes this, new generation that, yada yada yada, the same yip yap stuff that you would hear from your friends who play Pokemon on a regular basis. However, one of the most consistent things that I've heard amongst my circle is that Pokemon Legends was, by and far, one of the most fun Pokemon games that they have ever created, and it's not even close. And you guys know me, I more than agree with that very statement. I believe that it's been about 2 or so years now since I've put out my official review of Pokemon Legends Arceus. In that very review, I made sure to articulate the very fact that I had so much fun with Pokemon Legends Arceus, I was addicted to it. So addicted, in fact, that I could not stop playing until I was finished. And I'm not just talking about the main story. I was about to go balls to the wall on 100%ing the Pokédex. The only reason that I didn't was because I didn't realize that I didn't need to do every single little individual requirement on the Pokédex to get the shiny charm. I just needed to generally fill out the Pokédex like we always do. But do you hear that? Do you understand what I'm saying? I was ready to do that. I am not one to 100% gold, platinum, any of my games like that. I love playing my games to the fullest extent of my enjoyment, but I am never one to go that far out of my way. But when Legends came out, you guys did not hear a peep from me for a week straight or something like that. No tweets, no videos in between, nothing like that. I could not put that game down for the life of me. Despite how I feel about the story of Pokemon Legends Arceus, that gameplay was the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game by and far. No contest. And obviously, it was no mystery that I was not the only one thinking this. All you have to do is look at Twitter right now and you can see the uproar people are in just because of the title Pokemon Legends. That name carries just a little bit of weight now, and obviously Game Freak and Pokemon Company took note of that. Pokemon Legends Arceus was initially a fluke of a game. They didn't mean for it to happen, which is why they released it so insanely close to the remakes. Obviously, as a singular game, they never expected it to have any kind of success anywhere near the remakes or a generational game like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. they still saw the numbers that it did do and the praise that it did get. And they said, okay, why don't we go ahead and lock in? And here we are 2 years later with the announcement teaser of a new Legends game. They are genuinely capitalizing on this as a concept, and that is a beautiful thing. I don't get, though, why people say that Legends isn't a mainline Pokemon game, or why they're saying that this upcoming game isn't going to be a mainline game. It's a mainline game. This is a mainline game if I've ever seen one. The only difference from Legends games to quote-unquote mainline games is that they focus on the past as opposed to the future, which I think is more than perfectly fine. If it's a AAA title price and it actually affects the history of the Pokemon story, yeah, that's a mainline game. I'm getting a little off topic here, but the main point of it is, there's so many different concepts in Pokemon Legends that they can finally utilize in its own individual series. That's something that I've been wishing for, and now that we're getting it, I absolutely cannot wait for that. Some people may think that this was a very obvious decision. However, if you guys know Pokemon, you know that they don't really have a great track record of utilizing concepts that they've used beforehand. As cool as the Nintendo concept can be sometimes of always giving us something new in all of their games, it can always be really frustrating too. There would always be some amazing concepts that worked beautifully in previous games that they decide to abandon solely for the sake of making something new. Obviously, this applied to Game Freak and Pokemon as well. Ironically, 6th Gen is a beautiful example of this very fact. We got the PSS system, and we pretty much never got it that way ever again. A super simple and fast and easy way to connect with friends to be able to battle, trade, or just hang out with your Pokemon. They just never brought it back for some reason. Why? Nobody knows. They kinda sorta somewhat did it in 7th Gen, but my memory's a little hazy on that one, and I don't remember it being the same, but please, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong. Long and short of it is, the Wycom never needed to go. And it went. And we never had a good online system that made things easy like that ever again. And on the off chance that example isn't strong enough for you, hey, gimmicks. For whatever reason, after 7th Gen, they decided to make gimmicks a one and done deal. Until today, we never thought that we were gonna see Mega Evolution ever again in any of the mainline games. And yet, here we are! With just the simple act of showing that Mega symbol at the end of the presents, told us everything that we needed to know about their mindsets going into this game. Mega Evolutions coming back is one of the most exciting things we could ever ask for as Pokemon fans, because the concept in of itself, while broken, was still so much fun. And being able to use something like that in something like a Legends game, unmatched. You can bet that giggly ass of yours that we're going to be diving deep into that conversation in about a week's time. But they literally said, hey, they liked Legends and they liked Mega Evolution. Let's do it, y'all. Let's just make that happen. Now, of course, they're not gonna make it happen immediately. This game is not slated for 2024. In fact, it has a very vague release window of 2025. However, that is nothing short of a good thing. You have to understand that is the best thing that they could ever do. This is the first time in years that we aren't getting something Pokemon related for the holiday season. No main game, no DLC, nothing for the holiday season of 2024. That is one of my biggest hopes and dreams legitimately come true. Even on the chance that they are moving at a very rapid pace for Pokemon, I think that even those last couple of months, those last 2 extra months of the holidays to just take the time, polish it, touch up, do whatever they gotta do before they ship that sucker out, that is music to my ears. Now, of course, I could be wrong, and they could be pulling an original Legends Arceus where we get it very early 2025, which is very possible, of course, but there's a big reason that I doubt that. In the last couple of videos, I have talked extensively as to why I believe we are getting a new console from Nintendo very soon. For the last couple of months, we have been simply winding down with very minute and minor releases in the Switch space. The last major game that we got exclusively for the Nintendo Switch was back in May with the release of Tears of the Kingdom. Ever since then, it's been a bunch of remakes, ports, and little big things like Princess Peach Showtime. And to top that off, our last major Nintendo Direct was a partner showcase, which means that we only got information on games that were coming out from third parties, nothing from in-house mainline Nintendo. At the beginning of the year, a February Direct is kinda crucial, and to make that a partner showcase and to just not say anything afterwards, yeah, they've got something much bigger planned than that. So, with that thought now in your heads, there's absolutely no beating around the bush, right? It's very likely that this game, Pokemon Legends ZA, is going to be one of the major launch titles for Nintendo's next console. And that makes plenty of sense, right? Considering the fact that Pokemon is one of Nintendo's biggest exclusive franchises. Y'all gotta remember, Pokemon games, especially back in the day, were console sellers. DS, 3DS, they were ripping through those numbers. So a big juicy mainline Pokemon game like Legends ZA with Mega Evolution that people are going to be excited about? Yeah, that would absolutely make sense. This is a little bit of a spoiler for a future Hopes and Wishes video, but I am very much in hopes that this game shows off the capabilities of that next console. However, it is very possible that that console is the very reason why they're taking the extra couple of months. Like I said in a previous video, I'm sure that they're still getting used to the dev kits and most likely making sure that whatever engine that they're working with, whether it be a brand new engine or the one that they use for Legends Arceus, works with this new console properly. But to even take those extra couple of months just to do that, absolutely here for it. By all means, do whatever y'all gotta do. Even if that bad boy doesn't come out until summertime, you know I'm happy with that. And then of course, my final point here is simply the fact that we're going back to Kalos, probably one of Pokemon's most underrated and underutilized regions in the entire franchise. People for the most part loved Gen 6 for whatever it was. However, it was a little barren in terms of a lot of aspects because they were working with a new engine, they were working with 3D models. It was a very big turning point for Game Freak in terms of development. And obviously, Pokemon X and Y suffered in one way or another. Yeah, we loved Mega Evolutions, and Kalos was a very pretty region for the most part when you went to the big cities and stuff like that, but to me personally, as far as that story went, it was kind of a big nothing burger. Team Flare didn't do anything for me personally. However, they did a very good job in setting up potential lore with Kalos, and that is why doing a Legends game for Kalos, while very unexpected, makes so much sense. Again, we'll be diving into this in a future video, but it works beautifully as a concept. How many times have I said beautifully in this video? I think I'm a very happy camper right now, but anyway. Even with Paldea in the running, I think that Kalos, more than most other regions, deserves a second chance to shine, and this is that time. I think that we are going to fall in love with Kalos in a way that we never have before, potentially even more so than its original entry to the series, and that is something I am uber excited about. Like all of you, most likely. More than ever though, this presents, especially with the announcement of Pokemon ZA, feels like a true love letter to Pokemon fans. Y'all liked Legends? We're making a new one. Y'all liked Mega Evolution? We're utilizing that as a mechanic. Y'all loved Kalos? Let's go ahead and give it a second chance because we didn't give it a chance to shine the first time. Y'all want us to work on it a little more? Say less. You'll see us in 2025 with a brand new console and a brand new look. Now, knock on wood here, but it does finally feel like we could potentially finally be out of the dark ages with Pokemon. Those 2 minutes of absolutely nothing but a teaser made so much strides with us in terms of communication from Pokemon Company. It really does feel like they actually took into account what was happening with Scarlet and Violet and truly listened a little bit to take the time to actually put out AAA titles that have polish and deserve that pricing. I don't know about you guys, but you guys know me. I personally, like I said, am not hard to please. A good polished game with a fun story and awesome gameplay mechanics, and I'm locked in. Pokemon Legends ZA has plenty of potential that we're going to be covering within the next few weeks, but give me some time and we'll talk about it. But hey, that's just me. So that just about does it for this one. I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance. I'm going to try and get as many videos ready for you guys as I possibly can. However, I can't promise how many videos that will be because, of course, my potential game of the year is coming out in literally hours from now. Like literally just under 24 hours. And I'm sick of waiting for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You guys know me by now. I gotta have my hands on that game, and I'm not gonna stop until I have finished that bad boy at least one time. And then, as soon as I'm done with it, you guys already know we're going on the March grind again. Every March, we go balls to the walls with content. I'm talking about everything that could potentially be anything for Pokemon Legends ZA. We're going to do every kind of breakdown. We're going to do every kind of theory we can. And of course, we're going to do some hopes and wishes and stuff like that. And I'm bringing y'all along with me. All right. I know you guys got some hopes and wishes too that you want to voice. And I know y'all got some mega evolutions that y'all want to see in the upcoming games. So we're going to be talking about that real soon. But before we get to any of that, I need you guys to tell me first. What did you guys think of the announcement earlier? Did you guys think it was very awesome? Did you think it was good and simple and everything that we needed to see? Or are you disappointed that we're actually not getting a mainline game this year and that we actually have to wait a semi-long time for this game to come out? Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it is time for me to skedaddle on. So I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I am gone. So thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor, taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.